Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today I thought I'd show you how to make my little Hello Kitty face, crochet only, applique. Again, we're going to need just your hook. I'm using my loom just to make the magic ring. I find that's easier to show you how to do it. You're going to need some red bands. I didn't do a bow, I've done a little red flower in her hair, or by her ear. Some black bands for her eyes and her whiskers, and two little yellow bands for her nose. So that's all we're going to be using today. So let's get started. You can use beads instead if you wanted to for the eyes. I found that the bands actually look better because you can't guarantee that they're going to be at the same angle from where you put them. So I've actually found those work a little better. Let's get started. We're going to do our magic ring first. And it's going to be a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I'm going to count out my 6 white bands, and I have 1 to start with and 1 to tie off at the end in a slip stitch. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a bit better what I'm doing. Let's angle the camera. There we go. Alright, let's stop it bobbing around and getting you all seasick. Let's pop our first band around this peg, and you're going to wrap it round once and twice. In doing that you end up with 3 little loops. Okay, so we're going to have 3 little loops. Take your first band and you're going to pop your hook down that the band that's on your peg. Pop your first band on your hook and pull it up and through and reclaim. Okay, take one over the other as if you were doing a slip knot, and then budge that round. Keeping this loop on your hook, you're going to go back down that band on your peg and grab your second band and pull it through and reclaim. And now you've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to take the middle loop and you're going to move it up and over the loop that's on the end of your hook. You've now got 2 slip knots, and you're going to join them together by taking one over the other and budging this around. Keep this on your hook. We're going down for our 3rd band. Again, you're going to move the center one up and over and join them together. Back down for our 4th. Now I should mention that the eyes, the whiskers, the nose and the flower are all going to be added after we've made the shape of the face. With crochet you would actually embroider them on. You embroider the little noses and face, faces and everything, but it's kind of difficult to do that with rubber bands, so we just kind of make do and make them with the bands. Let's get rid of our loom, we don't need that. So this is our little magic ring, and what I'm going to do is spread these out so that they're evenly spaced, so it looks like a ring, not a semicircle. If you count, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little stitches there. They're little teardrops. The 6th is on your hook. You're going to push your hook through that first stitch. There's your 6th stitch here. Grab your next white band, flick it, pull it through that first stitch. We're going to do what's called a slip stitch. We're going to, instead of reclaiming this band here and doing a single crochet, we've put it through the stitch. Now we're going to join the 6th stitch to it as well, okay, and then reclaim. So you have all of them on that one band like that. Take the one closest to you up and over, and you now have a little slip stitch, and that's your first stitch. All right, now I use a stitch marker. These are ones that I bought at, I think, Joann's or Michael's, my local craft shop, and they're not terribly expensive. These are made by Clover, the same people that make these hooks, and I find them very good because you can just, you don't have to lock them into place, you just pop them on like that. So I found that those were quite good for me, and you need these just to be able to count the beginning and the end of each round. If you don't have them, use a paper clip, it works just as well. Alright, now each of these next next stitches. I'm just trying to think here. We started with the first band on our peg. We then added 6 to do this, and then this one was 7, so that's 8 bands so far. We're now going to put 2 bands in each of these stitches, except this first one. This is going to, the stitch we already have here, the slip stitch, is going to act as our first stitch. We're going to go back into the first stitch and do our second single crochet, so that this first stitch now has 2 stitches in it. Okay, so this was our first, this is our second. Go up and over, and you're going to join those together like that. So our second stitch, which is here, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So you're going to go and do a single crochet, one over the other, and then join them together like that, and then do a second single crochet in that same stitch, one over the other. So this is increasing the diameter of our little face here from 6 stitches to 12. Back through to do our second single crochet, and now move to the next stitch, and we'll do 2 single crochets in here. Here's our first one, and then back through, and we'll do our second one, and then here's our next stitch that we're going to work on. And we'll do 2 in here, and in here. Get a few more white bands ready. Number 1 and number 2. Now you can see that I'm back at the beginning because here's my marker. Okay, so I'm going to go through the 2 little loops there that make that first stitch that I have my marker in, and I'm going to do a single crochet. 1 and 2. And then I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and I'm going to put it in that new stitch. You stretch this out a little bit so that it's more evenly spaced. And somebody made a very good point. They said, oh, but my work is full of holes, all the stuffing is going to come through it. Don't worry, it all sort of relaxes in, the holes close down a little bit, and everything does look fine, I promise. Just keep going. Just don't stretch your bands too much, and don't put too much stuffing in if you're doing something that needs stuffing. Okay, alright, so for our next round we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase, followed by a single crochet and alternating. Well, we've done our first single crochet, which was in this stitch here, so this stitch here is going to be our increase, which is 2 single crochets. There's 1, and go back in again for our second. And the next stitch is going to have just a single, followed by an increase. And a single, followed by an increase, and a single, and an increase, and a single, and an increase, and a single, and an increase. Oopsie. Losing bands all over the place. There we go, and we'll do our last one is going to be a single. And we will move our stitch marker to our new stitch. I have to have a little giggle. My friend Christy was saying every time she listens to one of my tutorials she thinks of Mary Poppins and how Mary Poppins used to speak. Spit spot. Come on, children. I should do one of those. Our next round again is going to be an alternating single crochet with an increase. We've just done a single crochet, so let's do our first one as an increase. Followed by a single. And an increase. Now on this round we are going to be doing the ears, and we're going to, this is the end or the beginning, so we're going to have that at 6 o'clock, and the ears are going to go either side here. So as we get to about this point here, we're going to do something a little bit different for our ear. Okay, so I've got a single, followed by an increase, and then I'm going to work on my ear. So here's one for the increase, and here's my second. Alright, so I'm going to do a single in here first, like this, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch and I'm going to do a chain. So I'm going to take my first band and reclaim. My second band is going to be like a little chain on it, like that. Alright, get a few bands ready. I'm going to move this loop over the top as if I was doing a single crochet. I'm going to add this one over the top like that. Okay, I'm now going to go in and do another single crochet. Oopsie. Like this. Go in one more time. Grab a single band, move it up and over. Take this one over like that. Now I'm not going to take this one over. I'm going to take another band and put it through those two and reclaim, and then loop this one up and over. Then I'm going to come back down to where this first loop is here. Alright, so skip this one, move down to here and do a single crochet in here. So put it over like that, stretch this one down so it goes up and over, and then do another one in here. Okay, and then push your hook where we started, where it's, we've got all this in here. You're going through that loop again, and we're doing a slip stitch. So you pull it through, you don't reclaim, you're going to add that loop to it and then reclaim, and then one over the other. And if you pull this out now, you can see that you have a little ear. You've made this cute little ear with a little point to it, compared to how we did with our teddy bear, which is a rounded ear. So we have a pointed ear for this one. Okay, now to continue around, we're just going to do single crochets until we get to the next ear, and then after that next ear we will go back to our alternating. So I've got 1 and 2 like that. So now I did an extra 2 single crochets in here. Let's pull my stitches so that they're sitting nicely. Now I'm going to go in the next stitch and we'll do our little chain. So here's my first one, and pull my second one through, one over the other and one over the other, do a single crochet, one over the other, one over the other. Now we're going to go back through here again with a single band, pull it up, you're going to go one over, and then if you remember, we don't do those two. This is how we make our point. Pull it through and reclaim, one over the other, and then we come back down to here and we do 2 single crochets, and there's one. Let's do our second one, there's 2, and now our slip stitch, like that, and again we need to spread it out a little bit. Let's do our next, we're just going to do a single crochet followed by an increase. That's 1, go back in that same spot, 2, single crochet, followed by an increase, through both loops, single crochet, increase, and finish with a single crochet. And then to join them, you're going to go back through that first stitch, and we do a slip stitch here, pull it through and then through the loop, reclaim, one over the other, and take your little stitch marker out, and now you're going to pull that tight into a slip knot. Alright, we'll pretty that up after the fact. Let's have a look at the ears and make sure that they are shaped nicely, or as nice as we want them to be. So here are our little ears. Now, there we go. All we're going to do is hide this at the back. So decide which side you want as front or back. I prefer this one as the front. If you have a look, it's got these versus the outside ones. I think it just looks a little nicer. So let's get started. We're going to do her little flower in the hair, and I am going to use my loom to make that. Again, it's just a magic ring. Okay, so I'm going to take my loom, take a red band and wrap it round once and twice. I'm going to use 5 little bands. I'm going to poke my hook down, bring it back through, oops, poke it down, bring it back through, and do my little slip stitch, my little slip knot, go back down again, drag it through, just how you did to start the face. Hey, come back here. Push it around to give yourself some space. And our last one. Take it off your loom. Again, you're going to need to spread these around so that they are forming a circle. Go through your first stitch with a red, you're going to pull it through both in a slip stitch, and tie off in a slip knot. Now I'm going to turn it over so that this bit is facing down rather than facing up. And all I'm going to do, see how we have this hole here in the ear? I'm going to grab that, I'm going to pull it through. Okay, so my flower is going to sort of sit here. Now I'm going to go through, I'm going to capture this. So if I've come through this way, so I'm going to go out on this side here, so it's not in the same spot, so that it captures it a little bit, like that. And all I'm going to do is push it around like this, so that I have it wrapped around. Now you can do it twice. Sometimes it's when you stretch the band, you need to just go around a couple of times. But remember, the band will relax. Now, how I made it so that the petals came out is these little bits here, if you can see. Let's see if I can show you completely. I'll use a thinner hook. See these ones here? You pull it, so you make them tighter. That's all I did. I just pulled these out just a little bit to make things tighter. Just like that. Okay, so that's how I made that tighter. And again, if you need to make this tighter, again, just go around, splay it open, and it's easier when you haven't already stretched the petals. And just wrap that around a couple of times. Okay, now for the eyes I used a single black band. And it's quite tricky where to place them. Izzy was having a field day with me, saying, nope, don't like it there, nope, don't like it there. Same with the nose. Take a single black band, wrap around your hook once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. And you're going to slide onto a white band. And this is so that we can kind of hide it at the back a little bit. Slide it down like that. We need to do 2. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again, slide it onto a white band. When you slide it on, try and lift it up and slide it so they don't become all tangled and snarled. And this is the center here. This is the magic ring that we started. So I've kind of gone either side of it, and then I've put the nose below it. Okay, so, and I think that worked quite well. Again, you're going to want to capture through one and put it through, and then go in a different spot to bring it back out. So if you put it through the same hole, it would well, it would just go all the way through. You wouldn't capture anything. So fiddle around with it until it's right for you. And I'm going through this one, and I think I'm going to go through this one, see if I want them on a slight slant, like that. So I think that will look good for me. Turn it over, put your hook through both of the ends to make sure that that's where you want it, and obviously you can pretty up the eyes at the back yourself. Take a single white, and you're going to do a slip knot. So grab both of those loops on here and do a slip knot. Again, we're going to hide this through. Alright, so don't worry about that. Let's do the same for the second eye. So I've gone through this one here. Pull that back. It's tricky to do so that you can see what I'm doing. So pull that one back, and then find where you're going to have it through the other side. I think I picked about here. Pull it through so we can see. Usually it's easier to keep one side on the hook and then pick your second side through like that. So I think that looks about right. Now if you wanted to, you could pull back the same band through. I'm going to use another one and do a slip knot. Get out of the way. There we go. So far I've got 3 bands that I need to hide. When you hide them, and I'll show you, see these little loops? You're just going to push your hook through the back of these little loops. And it won't show on the front because you're going through the back. And all you do is drag the tie-off band through. See, you can't see it at the front. So you can just discreetly hide them like that, and then you'll never notice. Do the same for this one. So go through some of those loops at the back, pull your band through. Make sure you don't pull it too tight to distort the face, unless of course you're going for that look. So you just hide it through the back here like that. Angle the eyes. There we go. Now for the whiskers, I did them a little differently. What I did was I found where I wanted my hook to be, and I've got one that starts really quite close to her eyes. Again, you might need to fiddle around with it. It's up to you. Push your first one through so that it comes through on the back, and keep the hook on the back black one. Now what you're going to do is go through a loop here at the side, grab the band, pull it, and you're going to do like a slip knot. Okay, so that's going to be like the first one. Now I think that probably is slanting down too much, so I'm going to change where that goes so that it looks better. I'm going to go through the same spot here. I've kept my hook through, go through the side, grab the other end. I'm going to do a slip like that. Alright, I'm going to keep this on my hook and find my next spot. Now my next spot I'm going to maybe try, I don't want them too far apart, so maybe I'm going to try just here. Take another black band. We need to do 3 of these. Another black band. And see how I've got the first one on. I'm going to take that second band through that loop, and then I'm going to find the next loop on the side, grab that band, pull it through, and again do a slip knot like that. That's a really thick band. Now I'm going to find the spot for my 3rd whisker, pull it through, and I've kept that one on the back of my hook here. Pull it through. I'm going to put it through the loop that I had at the back, find my next white on the side, pull it through, and slip knot. So that's how I did the whiskers. Now if you want the whiskers to be a little closer or a little bit more angled, that's completely up to you. If we want this one to be a little bit more angled, undo the little slip knot, and remember you've got this little loop at the back here that you need to put your hook back through. This one here, if I can get my hook through it. Come on, there we go. So for example, if we went through the same spot, I don't want to go through the exact same spot. If I push my way through these bands here like that, let's see how that looks. It might look better. So I've pushed it through, I'm going through that loop that's at the back, that little black loop. There's my next white band on the side. Let's see how that looks. I think that looks a little better. Again, all I'm going to do with this is find a couple of little white loops like that, take a white band, pull through all of them, and I'm doing a slip knot. So that's another one that I need to hide around. And don't worry about if the eyes sort of go a bit wiggly woggly, you can fix that up. Okay, so now we need to mirror image these on the other side. So I went through about here, so I'm going to push my hook through here again on this side now, and take my first band, pull it through. Now let's see where I went through on the side. This is my ear. I have 1, 2, 3, so it's about the third. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go through the third one down. 1, 2, 3. This is the third one down. Push my hook through, bring it back to the back, and do a little slip knot. Now I don't think that's long enough. I'm going to redo. I'm going to push it through that part. And there's a certain amount of fiddle factor that you have to do to get it right. That looks better. The next one I'm going to do through here, I've still got this on my hook. Push my hook through here, grab the next band, pull it through. I'm going to pull that through the loop that I have at the back there. This is my next white. It's down one from the other. Pull it through, and again do a little slip stitch like that. Now we went through the centre. Now I pushed my way through, didn't I? I was about here and I pushed my way through. So let's see if I can do the same. I'm going to push through about there. Drag another white through. There we go. I'm going to put it through. Well, I'm going to try to put it through that black band at the back. This is my next stitch here on the side. Pop it through, drag it back to the back, slip stitch, find 2 little stitches that I can link it to, and do my slip knot to keep it secure. So there we have our whiskers. And again, if you stretch this out, it will relax. We can hide these. Again, find some little bands at the back and just loop up so that they're hidden. We can do the same for this big one on the back here too. This is probably one of the busiest because you've got so much happening on the front of the face. I haven't embroidered, but I imagine that it would be a lot easier than doing this. Maybe I'm wrong. Pull that back through. Now we just have the little nose to do. So I've hidden those at the back. The little nose, I'm using 2 of the yellow bands. I'm going to wrap once, twice and 3 times like that. Take a white band, slide on, pretty it up so they're not too tangled and twisted, and that the yellow bands are in the middle. As I said, I went just under the middle where I started. So here's one side, and pull it through, keeping it on my hook. I'm going to go to the other side and drag it through like this. If you feel it needs to be a little higher, adjust it to whatever level you feel comfortable with. You might feel that on this particular one you need to go through the center, and that's okay. I want that on my hook still. Come back here. There we go. And then through the other side here. So I might not, I think my eyes are a little higher on this one, so I think the nose here is better. And again, I'm going to take a single white, and tie off in a slip stitch, and I'm just going to hide it above some of these, or under some of these stitches, these little loops. There's one, and it might look a bit messy at the back, but hopefully the front will be fine. So there's the back, and here's the front, pretty up your nose, and the eyes. There we have our little Hello Kitty, and you can make her flower any colour you like, pink, red, purple, whatever. If you find that these are twisting a bit, the trick I found is to put your hook through them and just twist. So like that, and then just twist them around a bit, sort of makes things, and then give them a pinch. So there we go. I hope you enjoy making her. This is one I did last night. She's relaxed a bit, as you can see. This one is still a bit taut, but there you go. I hope you have fun. Take care. Bye bye.